Hello, how are you? You know, I always ask that, but you all never say it back, you never answer it. How rude. How dare you? Anyway. Hi. So, in this video, I'll be doing something once again, right? As I always do, well. So, you know how I always say, like, I'm lazy, I do things very fast, I don't really do a lot of detail anymore because I don't have time or anything and that sort of stuff, you know, I always say it the same thing over and over again. So I decided to stop being lazy and go back and do a full illustration and try to use my abilities as a person that draws and do stuff. I say person that draws because I don't really like calling myself an artist. I don't know why. It just feels wrong and weird. I never do it. I do it when I'm doing titles because then you know, you know, you gotta clickbait and stuff. What was I saying already? I already lost myself. Anyways, I got tired of being lazy and I wanted to use my abilities because I spent years practicing how to draw, right? Just to then not use it. Please, we gotta do this once in a while, right? So I suffered, okay? Like the whole thing is lots of suffering, but I decided to ignore that and just do stuff. Back in the day, I learned to like draw silhouettes so that you can like plan out the concept and whatnot. Like sure, I did a basic concept in my sketchbook and whatnot so that I could have an idea, but I don't record that because I cannot focus with a camera on me. It's too much. But I fixed some stuff up. I did the silhouette, tried to figure out where everything went and what I wanted, and then I have her here, right? This is Huion. I'll get into her in a bit. So for this, my concept was clear. My concept, yes. And also my plan. I was not going to follow like layers or depend on layer modes or anything. Like usually what you see a lot of artists doing, including myself, I do that a lot as well, is you do a sketch, line art on top, you make a layer below the line art, you put your colors in, and then over those base colors, right, your base, you do the shading, and then you add the lighting. And I got tired of that. I wanted to go back and like do stuff as I used to do it, like a mix of what I used to do in 2023 and what would I say, 2022? Those 2 years? I think those were the years where I actually chose my colors and painted stuff myself. So I really went for this. Of course, since we have a background, I will start off by painting the background to get the whole picture and the mood for it, even though it's not really difficult because Huion's story is named Pekluva, and Pekluva is a purgatory, and everything there is purple, so it was very clear, right? I was going to use a lot of purple. But since I didn't want to like limit myself to it, I decided to go for like a very fantasy sort of deal and added some teal here and there. But not exactly like in the world, because the world itself, like its natural habitat is still purple. But since she's laying on a blanket right in the middle of the grass, she will have a teal and pink color blanket with some details on it. Because what I need to do more, because I barely ever do it, is add objects and like detail them. I usually just try to focus on the character itself or like the background, but I always forget about objects that like fit into the whole picture. For example, she's like laying down in a way where she fell over and like knocked her teacup over while laying on that blanket in the middle of the grass against a tree and whatnot, that sort of stuff. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but she's getting you know, she has an issue going on. Let's just say it like that with 3 swords. So I really didn't want to focus exactly on like that sort of stuff. Like I went straight into painting here the background, but then I was like, there's an artist that I follow Their name is... I have no idea how to pronounce it. And the worst part is that their username changes throughout some social medias. It's like Evu or Evo. I don't know, it's something along those lines, okay? I will probably put them in here. They draw backgrounds. Oh my god. Dude, you would not believe. Dude, no, you listen to me, okay? Like, I am at a point in my life where other artists don't inspire me as much because, I don't know, it's just sort of, I've done it, I've seen it, I don't, you know, that sort of stuff. I don't really know how to explain it. My god, the moment I found their art, something in me changed because that person draws so well, and it's impressive how much they can draw. Like, they make full illustrations, they draw those backgrounds, okay? And they do it like so quickly. It's honestly so impressive. So I was like, well, I gotta like do something, right? I gotta learn, or at least like reference. So I know that they had made a tutorial of way back, a few months back, if I'm not mistaken. I had watched it back then. I did not rewatch it, I don't know why. But they had made a tutorial on how they draw nature, and I remember that they used stroke brushes for the grass mixed in with like not stroke brushes. I don't know. Stroke brushes are the ones that have like the line art on the outside when you like draw directly. It does that automatically. So I tried to like do that, but it's not the same because obviously I don't have the same brushes. I don't have Clip Studio Paint as well, so like I couldn't even get the same brushes. But I did something like similar to that, and I think it turned out really good. I like how it turned out, I think it's cute. So after that I was like, huh, okay, I guess I'll just like paint in some more stuff and like do this and do that. The thing is, I don't want to depend on layer modes, but I will still use them because I can. I did not want to limit myself with this. I went full out. I went with the whole thing that I know to do, and that's, I don't even know what it is. And I went for it, okay? This is a lot of painting. I try not to depend on like multiply. Multiply, my beloved. I love you. But I will still use it, of course, but back in 2023 I used to paint a lot and choose my own colors for shading. If you go back to some speed paints I posted back then, they are not voiced over, so you can enjoy those peacefully without my voice and Mini Angel covering the screen. And well, I used to choose my colors in a way like, you know how when you're like looking at a color, right? You have the color wheel right in front of you. So like, let's say, oh, I don't know, the hair is orange and the lighting is like from the sun, so it's sort of yellowish, right? So you're like, so it's like right in between those two, and I have to like move the, how do you say, the ball that's like in the triangle there? I don't know, but like right in between the two colors that you want to use, so that like it's affected by the lighting, right? The thing you want to do, the thing you want to affect. I lost myself. Anyways, I really went with this so that I knew exactly which color that I had to use, right? But I also like, I really wanted to make it very colorful because this is a story, a fantasy story, right? So usually when I go for fantasy, for example, with 178, I use like a lot of fantasy type colors like purple and pink and like bluish, teal, cyan, you know? Because those are very fantasy colors, especially purple. And since this world is also like fictional, obviously Picluva does not exist, I can confirm it. I went with some more fantasy colors for this as well, the same way that I usually do with 178, which is purple, pink, and blue, but mainly purple because the whole world is purple. I really like the contrast of Cheryu's red hair, like she's very warm in contrast to the whole like purple world, especially since she is like very bright and light while the world is very dark. I think that that's like, I love it. I'm very good at that. I'm very good at purple, okay? It's the only thing I know. Anyways. If you didn't know, Cherry is a character of a comic that I was going to make that I don't even know what I'm going to do. Like, I had like 2 comics that I was going to make, Pekluva, Purgatory Corrupted, and also Who Am I to Love You, Little Miss Future. I don't know what I'm going to do with them at this point because I have no time to make a comic. Maybe someday still? I really wish to, but I don't know if I will be able to make time for it. Unless I like make it on video, but like how would I do that? I have no idea. Because what is the video going to be about then? I don't know. I have to figure something out at some point. If you have any ideas, you can leave them down below. But I know you won't because you don't even answer how you are when I ask you. You are like so mean and evil. How dare you? You should start answering me when I ask you something. You disrespectful little piece of... Okay, I need to stop. So, I will read you the synopsis that I had made like last year, I think, for the story of Pekluva. So here you go. It's a masterpiece, okay? So be prepared. A girl awakens in a hospital room after a strange accident, knowing it's time to go. She finds herself facing a dark pit that seems to be calling to her. As she tries to leave, she falls into the pit and awakens in Pekluva, a world that is being consumed by corruption, trying its best to get rid of her. And there you go. That's the synopsis of Pekluva Purgatory Corrupted. Cheryu is our protagonist here. There is a lot to say about the story, but I won't. This whole thing was going to be like a story, a metaphorical story, and it came to me in my dreams. I could say a lot about this, and I will because I can, so I might as well, right? So Cheryu appeared in a dream of mine that I had like years ago. I don't even know now if it was 2018 or 2019. And I say that and you're like, it's not even that long ago. 2019 was 6 years ago, for you to have an idea. So take that as you will, okay? You can take that however you want to. It's horrifying. I had a dream where I was hospitalized. I don't even know why. I was just in the hospital, but like I wasn't, but I was there. I knew that I was hospitalized, but I also was standing watching myself on like those hospital beds that you get carried around in, the ones with wheels that you get dragging the ambulance in. I forgot the whole name, but you get what I mean. Okay, you if you understood, you understood. If not, then that's not my issue. So I was watching myself get dragged to like the hospital, and then they just left me out in the middle of the street because something had happened, like a sort of accident, so they had to deal with that. And as I watched myself like slowly dying there, I just started painting my hair red. And then I like woke up and I was like, huh, I could make an OC of that because I really wanted an OC with like red hair. Cherry red hair. And well, Cherry, you know, obviously. Every character with like red hair is called Cherry, okay? Like, we cannot escape it. And you know, the word Yuma in Japanese means dream, so since I was very much an otaku at the time, a little anime wannabe, I decided to just mix things up and mix the word cherry with Yuma, and that's how Cherry U came out. So there you go. Background lore for you all. I know, I just changed y'all's life with that one. You will never be the same again. And a lot of like the story that happens are like a bunch of dreams I had, and it's really cool. I don't know, I wish I had time to make these comics that I have because they're very cool. But like her story has like, dude, I like went far with story building, okay? Like her story is then connected to others, and then it's a whole world building thing. And what the fuck was I about to say there? We'll just ignore that. But yeah, I don't know, I think it's cool. I need to add more objects into my concepts and like make some more stuff with that. Also, I didn't record the whole process of me shading the hair because you see here how I shade the hair. That's what I do for the whole illustration, okay? I just do the same thing with the rest of the hair. It's there is nothing for you to see. You don't want to go through all of that. We have 16 minutes of this, you don't need more. After that, I have basically the whole illustration done, so what I do is, well, since she's below a tree, I add like a multiply layer on top and like add like leaf texture so that it's like leaves coming through. And then I went back to my favorite thing, which is these lights shining through. I miss doing these like rays of light. Ah, miss those. Then I add some other objects in the foreground, like leaves, just to add like a bit of depth to the illustration, and about a bunch of textures over top of it on an overlay mode, like fixing some colors and painting over some parts to make them more visible. There's nothing really that crazy here. You can just assume things. It's all like repetitive. And well, I really like this. One thing that I messed up that I can like say since we're at the end is her legs. Like, sure, she is supposed to be tall, but she is still a child, so she's not supposed to have that long legs. Also, if you all are going to come into the comments and say, oh my god, she's so cute, I wanna hug her, or oh my god, so sexy, I will throw you out the fucking window, okay? She's a minor. Don't even try me, okay? She's a kid. You don't even, okay? You do not start with that anyways. Here is the finished result. I really like this. I miss doing this sort of stuff because I was just being lazy for so long that I just couldn't do it anymore, and I got tired, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this illustration. And if you want me to make more illustrations like this, which are like you know, detail, and make me stop being lazy, then I guess you can tell me down below or something. If you came this far as well, then I really appreciate you. I don't know if people even get this far in my videos. I wouldn't, that's for sure. I'm way too out of my mind for me to go sit through with myself, so I don't know. What tangent am I on? I lost myself, okay? I'm sorry. So, as always, right? I hope you have a nice day and night. And I hope to see you again next time, despite me being me. So, bye!